Today, I have a student success story that I think you'll love. You're about to hear a conversation between me and Charles Pirro, one of my students who started painting just months before enrolling in his first course with me. Since then, he's been on an incredible journey, diving headfirst into learning and completing every course I offer at record speed. But I'll let Charles tell you his story. If you're new here, I'm Layne Johnson, and I help regular people learn classical painting techniques so they can paint the landscapes they love and have fun doing it. If that sounds good to you, be sure to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. I've designed my online courses so you can go through them at your own pace. And I always encourage students to set aside regular time to progress through the lessons. Charles really took that to heart. As you'll hear, his passion for painting has only grown stronger. This is the first time Charles and I talked, so let's see where it goes. Without further ado, here's our full conversation. All right, Charles, tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Charles Pirro. I'm 58 years old. I'm a third generation farmer. My company's 100 years old. That was my whole life was farming and still is. I just started, and my interest in painting was I was watching someone paint a wet on wet technique, and I fell in love with it. Like wow, how can he do that in 30 minutes or 40 minutes? And I had to challenge myself on that. So that's how I started about 9 months ago.
You have the hunger that a lot of young people, when I started painting, it's like once you start painting, it's like you can't stop.
And that's what sparked my interest, you know.
So what motivated you to enroll in my course?
Well, that's, I wanted to do some realism painting. I'd done a lot of the, through the months, I've done a lot of wet on wet, but I wanted to challenge myself really. And when I came across you on YouTube and social media, I was like, wow, it was just like grace, just watching this painting. And that's what I wanted to do is, and then you had a course and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to definitely join this.
A more classical approach is what you're getting at. What about, especially mastering the fundamentals? What did you see in that?
When I got into the course and I seen how you started off your paintings of this realism, I'm like, this is what I want to do. And in the fundamentals course, pre-painting, you explain everything to us. You explained everything to me through your course of all the steps we need to do before we even start painting. You made me understand why I'm going to paint like this through the course.
Was that kind of your expectation?
Yes, that was, I needed to find a teacher like that. I never went to a art school. To find something like that from you, it was amazing. And that's what I wanted to learn.
How did the structure of the course, how did that impact your learning? Did you like that, the way it was put together?
Yes. I liked it because there was a lot of literature before we started to paint. You explain going back to why and why we would do that this way, or with the imprimatur and all that for luminosity. I mean, all this stuff I learned through that course. I never even heard those terms before, and it was just that was really impressive to me.
So what was your experience with the online part of it, as far as that goes?
It came really easy to me. I mean, because of everything else I do at work with online, right. But the way the platform structured, it was really easy. It was really easy to follow, and it made me want to, go to the next lesson. But, I knew I had to stop because of drying time a little bit. But, I wanted to keep going because that's just the way the way I learned was, get your painting done in 3 hours,
Anybody just beginning painting nowadays, and they're like relying on YouTube. It's like, there's so much there now. It's like, how do you sift through all the clutter to find what you really want?
my advice is, even when you were a child or growing up in school, if you had a teacher you kind of didn't like maybe or something, you really didn't do very good there, right? Because but when you find a teacher that you're, really like, your interest just zooms right to it. And that's what happened to me. You sucked me right in. And that's what I knew. That's when I knew I was at the right place.
Was there any special technique, or what lesson did you key on? Did you really get something from the most?
The thing I got the most out of that was I don't know how to pronounce it right, but the imprimatur, the
No.
that right there. When I did the first one on the fundamentals, and you took your time and showed us how to do that, I saw that whole painting with come alive right there. Now we just got to put the colors to it. We did our shades. I mean, it was phenomenal. I've never done a technique like that.
I think
And that's what I learned. And I love to do those. That's what I love to do is that.
I mean, one of the things that I like the way that comes together, but the first thing it does too is it gets rid of that big white canvas.
Yeah.
It's intimidating. It's like, where do I start? Well, if you do the underpainting, then you already are jumping ahead. Just visualize the painting.
Yeah. And the way you taught it in that course, you got to remember, I know nothing. I don't know how to do any of this. And it came really easy to me because of the way you structured it and the way you explained it to us. It was really phenomenal.
Were there any aspects of the course that pushed you out of your comfort zone? I mean, you mentioned color mixing.
Yeah, that was my biggest one.
Yeah.
But what helped me get through it, Layne, is it for sure 100% was every time in the course she would say, trust the process. And that sank to me. I'm like, okay, my colors could be off a little bit,
right?
Because I can't, but I'm going to keep going with my palette, right? That's just the way I'm mixing. I'm going to trust the process and see where it goes. And that's exactly right. 100% trust the process, because it will come out right.
It is true. The funny thing is that when I first began doing courses, I didn't think that I had a process. I just did the painting this way. And my wife said, you totally have a process. And she said, see this, this, and this. It's like, the scales have been lifted. Maybe I do know something of what I'm talking about, but it really is a process. And it really is important that you hear that. What I always like to tell students is, celebrate your victories, really celebrate those victories, but you're going to learn more from mistakes. You're going to look back on something and maybe go back and repaint part of the painting or paint the painting again with the new knowledge and new experience that you have. So that's really a good thing to do. How's your painting style or approach change? I guess you mentioned that you were painting wet and wet, and now you're painting in layers.
Yes, that definitely the last month and a half has changed me dramatically. Painting in layers, the thin and then fat rule. I mean, that is something I never even heard of on wet. Usually you're putting down thick paint, put some light paint on top of it, and you come up with an impressionism. But what you've taught me through that is huge. And I like that style because it slowed me down, made me more of a patient painter.
Yeah.
And really see, those midtones and darks and watch the painting come alive. You could see your painting come alive, and that's what I took. And in a month and a half, I learned that. It's crazy.
That's what I think patience is. People always say, you're so patient, you're so patient. And my wife will tell you, I'm not really that patient, but I enjoy painting at a pace I enjoy painting rather than slapping down a lot of paint. Taking it easy and being, your blood pressure goes lower, which is always good. And it's a wonderful thing to just be able to take it easy and discern what you're doing. What are your future artistic goals?
So my goals is to continue to work hopefully with Layne, with you. And I want to, like I explained before, I want to to learn this technique and take it into the future, but I want everybody to recognize that, wow, my goal would be to someone to say to me, wow, you paint like Layne, you know what I mean? And that's a really goal for me, because I just, we could take the cloud, the trees, we could put that in any scene. It's the steps you showed us. And and I know I could get there, and that's my goal. And if it takes me 10 years, it takes me 10 years. But the best part is, if I have questions, you answer them so fast in the courses. It's just wonderful. I feel like I'm painting right next to you. I mean, that's the truth.
A lot of people, they have a hard time in like a workshop. I'll be sitting there demonstrating for maybe 15, maybe 30 people. And let's say there's 15 artists painting with me. Some of these people do not like painting around other people, other students. They don't like they feel intimidated. And that's the whole point of the online experience that I want to give people, is that it doesn't matter. Nobody's there looking over your shoulder. It's just you and me. We're just doing this, and we're going to learn together. And that's the big thing. Not just producing a beautiful painting, but I want you to learn. And then that will take the next step so that your paintings will get better and better. That's the thing, that you have a future in front of you that hopefully you'll have lots of good experiences painting, so that you'll make some mistakes now and then, but maybe they'll be happy mistakes. So
it's like when I'm following the course, like you said, online, I could pause you. I pause you for 10 minutes. I do my stuff. I do my painting, and I look at yours on the computer, and I'll say, he shaded that a little bit, but that's the beauty of it. When you're live in a class, it's difficult to do that, to get the time. I feel like I have a lot of time with you through the course, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, in a workshop, you can't necessarily see something up close because everybody's got their own space and they're working, and there's no way for you to just go up and just watch.
Yeah, no, I highly recommend this. A lot of people come to me like, how are you learning? Or, I can't do oils. I'm like, no, Layne has made this course for me. It's really easy to follow. I really feel that, you could follow. How do you not follow what you explaining? I mean, just read and listen and put some paint on a canvas. No matter what it comes out to be, just what you said, we're learning so much. I mean, we have a master artist teaching us all his secrets. I have so much respect for that. I just think it's the greatest thing is you're sharing everything you've learned. It's unbelievable.
Well, those are very kind words. And I've never understood any instructor that wants to keep their secrets. So it's like, why? What's like somebody else is going to do it better than you? And what does it matter? So I was going to ask you, do you have any paintings that you've done before you started taking lessons that you care to share?
Yes. I wanted to show you. This is my very first painting. You could see the date, October 14th of 23.
Yeah.
This is my very first painting. Don't laugh too hard.
Well, the first thing, that looks good. Yes.
And then it evolved, right? I was doing wet on wet. It evolved. I did another Bob Ross.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And then I got into another school and did, step up, like I showed Monet.
Right.
It's wet on wet, but impressionism.
Yeah.
And then I did my lion. This is working up after a lot of pains. Did my lion, which is one of my best.
Progression. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on to here, to look at this. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful.
It looks good. That looks really good.
But, look at this is the one he taught me too. Look at how beautiful this came. I mean, look at that.
Looks good. Looks great. I mean, sunsets are a whole thing. You can do. I think living where you live, I bet you're going to come up with some really good paintings.
I want to keep learning so I could go out there and paint that, and take a picture. And that's the other thing through the classes, you're also teaching us how to go out there and take a picture,
Right.
not let alone us painting. You're also doing that for me. You're
Yeah.
teaching me how to go out there and look at things differently to
Right.
get that perfect, picture
Yeah.
to
It's
paint.
part of the learning process is seeing, learning to see something.
I got 2 more paintings to do, and I'll be ready. I'll be ready for the next course you come out with for sure. This is my hobby. I don't sell no paintings. I give them away. If somebody wants something they see they like, I give it to them. I'm getting a joy out of just learning this talent that's just coming out of me. It's just wonderful. And like I said, I painted my dad one. I painted my sister one. They're just totally blown away. And I'm like, well, when they saw these, that's when the whole level changed with everybody. They're like, they take double looks. They've seen these other paintings, but they're seeing this come out of me. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm learning from the best. I've learned so much from you, Layne. It's incredible. That's all I could say. And I was a student that was gonna, like I said, I'm gonna learn and I'm having fun. If this was stressful,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be here sitting talking, right? But it's not.
Yeah.
I enjoy it every night or in the morning before I go to work. I'll paint that 45-minute session. I'll get up early, do my exercise, then I come into my studio and I just enjoy being with you in the mornings or in the evenings. And it's just a fun time. I mean, I'm having a great time painting, but the art has changed my life. And to find my teacher, there was a question of like, where am I going to go with this? I hopefully, I could keep painting with you, that's my excitement right now. And to be able to do one on my own.
I keep saying it, and it sounds like a cliche, but art really is a journey.
Yeah.
And you will, like I said, celebrate victories and recognize when the lessons learned from making mistakes, and just enjoy the ride, because see, some people are so hard on themselves, and I'm going, look, this ain't brain surgery. Nobody's going to die if you make a bad painting or something. What'd you learn from it? What'd you learn?
Do you remember when I sent you the thing on the fundamentals, my black sunk, right?
Yes.
It sunk. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? I didn't know nothing. So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta ask Layne. I was kind of like embarrassed to ask you because I didn't know what happened.
Yeah. No.
And then when you told me, oh, Charles, don't, this is what we got to do. And then I watched your course on it, of course, and boom, no problem no more. It's really cool, right? I just learned, I learned English, this way, but now I'm learning my Italian, I'm learning, this, and it's just, I'm learning languages, and it's okay for an artist to have that in his portfolio, right? I could paint someone on wet and then paint where I really enjoy. And that's
like I said, there's no right or wrong way to paint. I said it before in all the courses, like, if you're not having fun doing this, don't do it. There's lots of ways of doing it. And I'll never say this is the only way you should do something. Well,
you're amazing.
The exception of the fat over lean rule, that's the biggie. So, but I mean, years and years and years, I painted without any medium, but that was before I knew better. So if you want a good painting is to look good, that's one thing. But if you want to last, then it's a good idea that it's constructed properly. So
thank you for everything, and I'll keep painting and can't wait for the new courses, Layne. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, Charles. I told you Charles was passionate about painting. I want to thank him again for his kind words and for sharing his journey with us. I hope you found his story as inspiring as I did. If you're looking for guidance on your own painting journey, I've got the perfect place for you to start. Head on over to laynejohnson.com/workshop, where I have a free workshop waiting for you. Just click the link below this video or visit laynejohnson.com/workshop to register, completely for free. Why don't you join me in my studio? I'd love to help you take your painting to the next level. I look forward to being your art teacher. Thanks for joining me in my studio. If you enjoyed this video, you'll also probably enjoy watching the videos I've linked on the screen. Be sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. If you're ready for more in-depth lessons, consider enrolling on one of my online courses where I teach classical painting techniques for landscape painters. You can find all my classes at laynejohnson.com or click on the link in the description below.